neighbor India on the one side. On the other side, we have Afghanistan, who have perpetually been in a state of tragedy and conflict. Pakistan is actually facing at the moment a perfect storm. We have on the one side the economic challenges that we briefly touched upon. On the other side, we have the consequences of these floods that I honestly feel that the people of Pakistan will be bearing for generations to come. We've got the challenge of terrorism that is once again bearing its ugly head as a result of the fall of Kabul. And at this time, we need the support of not only the international community, but also of international financial institutions to understand the ground realities in Pakistan, and also understand that what's happening in Pakistan today is not going to be limited to Pakistan. If we don't form a consensus around the security threat emanating out of Afghanistan, for today, those consequences are being borne by Pakistan, but tomorrow that fire could spread somewhere else. We are looking to work with anyone, including Russia, to meet our energy needs. As far as how this will impact our relationship with the West or with America, I believe that there is now space within the, what is it called? The price cap to be able to purchase oil from Russia. And recently the US spokespersons at the State Department have been quite clear that they're not holding this against other countries, so I assume that that will also apply to Pakistan. I mean, it's particularly unfair if you look at this from a Pakistani perspective, where we're facing energy insecurity, we're facing extremely high inflation, and as a result of the geopolitical conflicts of great powers. And you're saying that Russia's off the market and Iran, our neighbors, off the market, and by the way, we're going to go and buy oil and energy from all the places that you used to buy oil and energy from and just deal with it. I don't think that that's particularly fair. I would like to see the day that the Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline is complete and we are able to import energy from Iran. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening in the immediate future as a result of geopolitical complications, the issues over the JCPOA, etc. I believe that whether it was before the fall of Kabul or after the fall of Kabul, Pakistan's influence over, or alleged influence over the Taliban has always been exaggerated, both internationally and perhaps domestically. Having said that, it is our consistent position that we must engage with the interim government of Afghanistan. We must engage with them on the issue of terrorism. We must engage with them on the issue of women's education and women's rights and other commitments that they've made to us, to the international community, and to their own people. It is not an option for Pakistan to wash our hands and turn our backs and ignore what's happening in Afghanistan, because we're joined by fate, by destiny, by geography, and you know, as they say, if Kabul sneezes, then Islamabad catches a cold. A year on from the fall of Kabul, the humanitarian situation is not getting better. The economic situation is not getting better. Their central banking system is still not functioning. Their funds are still frozen. Without a functional economy, there won't be that space for them to implement some political decisions. So I'm very keen, and I understand how difficult it is. It'll be very difficult to talk to Congress or to Westminster or to Brussels and explain that humanitarian and economic assistance should continue, not for the Taliban, but for the people of Afghanistan, so that we can address the other areas of concern. But despite the difficulty in discussing these issues with Parliament, I think it's the right thing to do. Absolutely. I mean, if the economic environment is going to be there, if the banking system is going to function, if there's going to be economic activity, only then will we see the men and the women in Afghanistan working. Obviously, I believe it's an absolutely flawed policy to say that 50% of your population can't work, 50% of your population can't get an education, so therefore won't be able to work in the future. That's cutting your nose to spite your face. There's no ifs and buts about it. But had we in the early days, addressed the economic and humanitarian situation with the attention that it deserved, I believe perhaps we would not be in the situation we are today, where it's becoming increasingly difficult to convince the interim government in Afghanistan to fulfill those commitments.